Hey everyone, Jeremy here. It's Tuesday night and we're going to create some art. It's going to be awesome. I wanted to jump in real quick because it looks like the room's already filled up with a lot of people. We've got Rome Dog in here. We've got Lamb Draws. Hey, welcome to this show. We've got Hater. We've got Kid in the room. We've got OK Larry. Hey, like if you guys are already ready to go, I'm ready to go. Let's just jump right in. So what are we working on tonight? Great question. Tom's here for the bourbon. Yeah, so I do have an announcement. If you guys haven't seen the post on the community tab, that project that I was talking about, where they were soliciting artists to decorate bourbon bottles as a means, as like a fundraiser for the Lex Arts here in Lexington, Kentucky. So the idea is that you would take a bottle and you would decorate it, and they would auction it off. And they asked for like any and all artists to submit designs and stuff. You have great news. My design was accepted, so in fact, I'll even show you. They gave me 2 of these to decorate. So that's Maker's Mark private selection. As you can see, Lex Arts is the people who are sponsoring this fundraiser. And yeah, I'm supposed to decorate this bottle, which is going to be a technical challenge because the design I submitted was a painting. So somehow I've got to make this bottle accept paint on it, or it's actually a coffee painting that I submitted as a design. So I need to get this bottle to accept some coffee painting. So we'll see how it goes. It's going to be a bit of a technical challenge, but I think we can do it. So we're not working on that tonight. We are actually working on that probably next week after I get some ideas together, maybe do some tests and stuff to make sure that I can actually pull it off. So they did commission me to do it, so I have to pull it off, or else, well, I have to return the bottle at least, or else I get charged for the bottle. So we'll sort this out. Anyway, welcome to the channel. Hopefully you guys are having a great Tuesday. I'm going to jump right in and talk about what we're actually working on tonight. So as you can see here, I've got this brown paper. All right. And there's a reason why I wanted to draw on this brown paper. It's because I have done all kinds of different pictures on all kinds of different papers, with different mediums and stuff like that. I gotta say, this brown paper thing, I'm really into it. So I first started drawing on brown paper with lunch bags, believe it or not. And charcoal really worked well with lunch bags. The problem with lunch bags is that they're not like archival quality. They're not like acid free. They'll deteriorate over time. So I got this nice little acid free craft paper. It can be used to go on the back of like a framed photo or things of that nature. But I really like it for like charcoal. I mean, it works really well. So I thought I'd do a drawing in charcoal. The great thing about this brown paper is that we've talked in the past about using like shadows, midtones, and highlights. So in this case, the tone paper, and you don't have to use this particular paper. Like you can go off and you can get tone paper at like your art store or whatever. It usually comes in browns or grays or sometimes blues or these like subtle colors or whatever. But yeah, you can get tone paper. You don't have to use this brown paper, but in the case of this brown paper, the brown paper itself becomes your midtone. So then you're responsible for creating shadows and you're responsible for creating highlights. So in most of the charcoal drawings that we do, the white paper itself is the highlights, right? So you don't really get to have a lot of fun with that stuff. And then varying degrees of charcoal become your like shadows. So in this case, we get to work on all 3 of those things together. So like the midtone is already covered by the paper. We get to have some fun with the highlights and the shadows. So anyway, that's what we're working on. I'm just going to draw while I'm doing this. Feel free to chat, and we'll just draw a picture. It's going to be cool. So I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Tuesday is a nice getting started on the week day. You're not quite midweek. That's tomorrow. Actually, by this time, you're basically midweek. So you should have an idea of how your week is going. Like if it's going well, if it's not. This week has been really super busy for me for some reason. Oh, and by the way, we're drawing a portrait here. I should have mentioned that. I like drawing portraits in charcoal. You can draw like animals in charcoal as well. You can draw like all kinds of different things. But in this particular style, where we're working on like tone paper with the highlights and the shadows, what I want to demonstrate really works best for like smooth toned things like people, or like maybe a short haired dog or something like that. But anyway, I'm just going to draw a person just to kind of demonstrate it. We're just hanging out anyway. Would butch paper work? I don't know. I'm probably. Um, the concern is always with these papers is like, say you actually draw something that you really like. Now, if you're just drawing, if you're just having fun, it really doesn't matter because like you can just draw a picture for your own purposes, and it doesn't really matter. It comes down to like whether or not you want to kind of preserve it. So like, say I happen to draw a really nice picture here, and I'm like, oh, this is really cool. I want to frame this and hang it up on the wall. Um, then the question becomes like, well, is it gonna survive the test of time? And when it comes to that, it really depends on like whether or not you have like acid-free paper. I'm sure you've heard of that kind of stuff. Like that's generally what people mean when they mean like archival quality materials. Is it's got to be acid-free because if it's got acid in it, it'll like yellow. If it's white paper, this might fade. If it had like exposure to sunlight, that sort of stuff. Um, it's really whether or not you want that picture to stay around. So when it comes to butcher paper, I have no idea. I have no idea like if that satisfied that criteria or not. This paper I had to look up, and it's specifically acid free, so I don't have to worry about it deteriorating over time. Um, so if you can find acid free butcher paper, probably. But then again, it really doesn't matter. Like if you care to like preserve it, um, or for how long you care to preserve it for. Like if you just, if you're shooting for your own lifetime, it doesn't really have to last that long, does it? Like we're all finite creatures here. We're not gonna live forever. But yeah, so that's it. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to whether or not you really want to like keep it going. I've drawn on all kinds of different things. Like I don't like to waste anything. So when I'm done with a notebook and it has that cardboard backing piece, I'll draw on that cardboard backing piece. I don't care. Um, I've got drawings that I did when I was in like grade school. They're still around, and those are done on like construction paper. And there's definitely not archival quality construction paper. That's all crap. And it does kind of get brittle and it does kind of fade over time. But if you don't care about that kind of stuff, just draw on whatever. The idea is that you're supposed to be having fun with this stuff. It's only if you actually care about preserving it that you need to worry about it. But to be honest, butcher paper, I have no idea. So what am I sipping on tonight? I am sipping on, don't tell the Maker's Mark people this, but I am sipping on 1776 from James E. Pepper Distillery. It's a bourbon, and it's good. That's kind of one of my go-to bourbons just because I really like the distillery. They're really kind of cool. Like you'd have to live in the area to kind of know what I'm talking about, but they're actually in an old distillery building, and they're in this cool like hipster kind of part of town where there's like a lot of artsy type, um, stores and craft breweries, things like that. And there's a pizza joint nearby that's really good. So I like the James E. Pepper Distillery. So at this point, I'm just kind of like mapping in where I think things should be. So like a lot of times I just kind of like jump right into it and just create like a big old mess. And maybe I'll kind of punch it up a little bit here. But I am trying to go for like a really nice drawing here, just to kind of demonstrate the process. So you can't, maybe you can hear that. I don't know. Like I'd have to adjust the mic or something, but it has this cool. I love the texture of this paper. So it's like smooth and it's got like a smooth texture to it, but it's also kind of like rough and coarse. I know that doesn't make very much sense, but it doesn't have the texture of say like watercolor paper, for example, or um, like the paper that I usually use for pastel. That usually has like a grit to it. This is pretty smooth, so it works, I think, well for charcoal, but also, it's kind of got. I don't know. Like, I don't know what kids do nowadays, but back when I was in school, we used to cover our books with this kind of paper. So it brings back memories. It brings back memories of carrying around textbooks at school. Like, I don't think you would ever, like, it's basically packing paper, but I don't know. Like, I don't think people pack like parcels anymore. Like, the whole idea of a parcel, I think has been kind of like superseded by, I don't know, like FedEx and UPS and basically just these cardboard boxes. I don't think people like wrap things up anymore in this kind of paper. Maybe they do. I don't know. But it reminds me of the old book covers and stuff back when I was in school. That's what it reminds me of. But anyway, so like I don't have to go crazy here with these shadows because they are just the shadows, and they're not actually the midtones. That would be the paper itself. It'll start to make sense as this picture comes together. You guys know how it is. It's always kind of like a slow start. Speaking of slow start, Kevin was in the room earlier. Kevin, I'm still working on your dog. I didn't get much of a chance to work on it over the last couple of days. This has been a super busy week for me. I don't know how your guys' week is going, but mine has been nuts. I've got like a lot of projects I'm working on, and then Comic Con is this weekend, and I volunteered to work for that. So I'm getting kind of trying to get all my stuff done so that I have the weekend free, and then just trying to make things work. You know how hectic it gets. Had to go down and pick up some bottles today. I just love that because they were supposed to, like hopefully they're not watching because I'm going to complain about them for a minute. So they said that they were going to announce who won on the 4th, and today's the 5th. So yesterday I didn't get any email from them, and I'm like, oh, that sucks. They should at least send me a rejection letter. And I'm like, I don't even warrant like a rejection letter. That sucks. I'm like, what was so bad about my designs? Why didn't they accept my design? So all of that stuff occurred yesterday in my mind. So it was like, it was quite the surprise when I got the email today. So I jumped on it. I went down there, picked up my bottle straight off, and I'm super excited to work on it. To be honest with you guys, I think it's going to be great. It's my first like non-personal commission. So like I've had some folks ask me to draw things. This is the first time like impartial like organization who's not familiar with my work has asked me to do something. So in that sense, it's kind of a big deal. I mean, it's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. It's not like that, but it's a big deal to me, and where I'm going with things. Makes me feel like a real artist or something. Yeah, brown paper bags. So again, with the brown paper bags, I don't think that those are archival quality either. But if you're just having fun, I would start with those. Like I said, I used to do this kind of stuff on lunch bags. So that's kind of the same deal, and it's fun. By the way, I'm using a hard charcoal here just to get kind of like a soft outline of things. I'm going to switch to like a softer one to make darker tones here in a minute. But kind of just wanted to figure out where the face is on this paper. The other cool thing about this, I mean, it is like a huge thing. So you can cut it to whatever, like whenever I buy paper, it's usually like 9 by 12 if I'm doing like sketches. Sometimes I get bigger paper if I'm doing like paintings or something like that. But it's usually pretty small. And the bigger paper costs more. So what's great about this is it's super cheap and you can just get like big rolls of it. So like if you wanted to do, like say I wanted to do like a full human figure, this would be ideal for that. I think it'd be great. Anyway, I feel like I'm selling you guys the paper here and I'm not. Uh, Brown paper packages tied up with string. These are my favorite things. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they do that anymore. They don't use string at least. They have tape nowadays. Maybe back when that song came out, they didn't have tape. That makes sense. I don't know like when tape came about into existence. All right, so let me kind of get a mouth in here just so that I know where these things are. I'm not too worried about detail. I just want to know where things are. This is a little bit different than how I usually do charcoal, which is I just kind of like create a bunch of mass. Here I'm actually trying to sketch where things might be. Again, because I want to broaden how I do things. And I don't want to get stuck in the trap of always doing the same technique. So in this case, I'm still kind of like massing it out, but yeah, we're 15 minutes into this. I can kind of speed this up as well. But yeah, probably gonna switch to the other charcoal here in a minute. All right, so I do think that that's probably good for where the face is going to be. Get some shadow on her chin. I am kind of like when I'm just doing a demonstration of some, art technique or some sort of like art whatever I'm working on. I do kind of favor doing similar things each time. So like I might work on horses just because I'm pretty familiar with drawing horses. Female portraits, I find those are easier for me to do than male portraits. So usually when I'm working on like a demonstration of some technique or something, I'll probably like do something familiar like that. But this technique would work for like any kind of thing that you wanted to draw. But mostly I like this sort of style and sort of paper and charcoal medium mix for things that are like smooth and sculpted, that sort of thing. Like if you were actually drawing a sculpture, that would be cool. That would be perfect with this. So like I had this idea that I'm going to go up to this art museum in Cincinnati, which isn't that far away, and it's an art museum that I really love. I kind of grew up with that art museum, and I kind of had this idea that I'd go up there and I would sketch like some of the pictures up there and some of the sculptures and things like that. I think it'd be kind of cool if I just rolled up with like a big old like roll of brown paper and just kind of rolled it out on the floor and just started sketching. That would be cool. Artists are known for being eccentric, so I never really considered myself an artist. But if I'm going to be an artist, then that means I get away with being crazy and doing weird things that most normal people wouldn't do. So I think that's kind of neat. Hey, Mama Q. Oh, sorry, I've been missing some of the chat here. Hater says, have you gained anything from your portfolio during recent surge in BTC? I have some SHIB, and the SHIB has gone through the roof. I don't have like a lot of SHIB, so it's not like I made a ton of money off of that. But I do have some SHIB in my portfolio, and that was amazing to watch go up. Um, Great question. Relentless Mindwork says, I accidentally drew the best portrait of one of my dogs I've ever done on the back of a piece of junk mail. There you go. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. So, like, I feel like this is the kind of fun art that people should do. Like, I like drawing art just like, just for fun. Like, if there's like some drywall, some blank drywall that hasn't been painted, I want to draw on that. I want to draw. I told the story on the stream at some point about when I was a kid. um, Me and my friends used to sneak down into like sewer drains and with spray cans and do like murals on the wall um, of like sewer drains and stuff. And it's kind of interesting to me because nobody would ever see that. Like it's not like we did that so that people would see it. It's just for fun. I feel like it's the same thing if you did something on like drywall before it got painted. Like at some point, maybe that paint will come up or whatever, and they'll see your drawing, like a little thing for future generations. That'd be kind of cool. All right, so I feel pretty good about where that is. So I think I am going to switch to my other pencil just so that I can. So the harder your pencil is, the darker it's going to be. So this soft charcoal pencil is going to leave like some really dark marks, which I think is great. So I can kind of get this eyeball in here. Anyway, I do think it's a lot of fun to do art that maybe nobody will ever see. I mean, when I started this channel, Like it's done all right now. Like a couple of you guys have been in here, pretty consistently. But um, there was always a chance nobody would ever see this art. But anyway, um, oh, 21 people. Dang, yeah, that's cool. Hey, I appreciate you guys stopping in. If any of you guys are new, it does seem like some like, hey, crew gang, um, BIC is in the house. Willy Nilly's in the house. Cool, welcome. Um, if any of you guys are new, I know some of you guys are recurring, but if any of you guys are new, this is a fun channel. We like to just hang out and draw and chat, and sometimes we're chatting about art. Sometimes we're just chatting about weird things like aliens and UFOs, and sometimes crypto, and it's just weird. Thanks, Marvel. Um, we just chat about all kinds of weird things. So like if that's your thing, if you like to just hang out and chat with people who kind of show up on the regular, a lot of these guys have been in here pretty regularly, which is cool. Kind of forming a community here. If that's your thing, maybe you ought to hit that like and subscribe there. I'm trying to get better at promoting this channel. I'm not very good at it. Please hit the subscribe button. I don't know how to like. I don't know how to push for it. But nah, it's pretty low key here. We just hang out and chat. I do these streams like twice a week. And if you like my work, that's cool. But to be honest with you, I'm still a beginner, or not beginner is a little harsh. I'm like an intermediate drawer. Like I've only been doing this for a couple of years, so I'm still learning. There you go. That's the point. And I try different things just to see what works and what doesn't, just to see what makes me happy. Like this brown paper thing, I really enjoy it. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the thing, I've done a couple of pictures on lunch bags, and I really enjoyed that. So I thought I'd get some of this paper just to try it out. And if I'm trying it out, I figure I'll try it out on air with you guys. So that's what we're up to. How's Kentucky Bluegrass? Oh, I think I know who Crew Gang is. All right, so Tyler, is that you? The further from home you are, the harder your pencil gets. Ah. What are we drawing tonight? So we're working on a portrait on brown packing paper. Yeah, I mean it goes by different names. Like I think it's also called like kraft paper, whatever you want to call it. It's basically that packing paper. Um, I mentioned that I used to use these as book covers, like when I was in school on my textbooks and stuff. Maybe that's where my like fondness for it comes from. Is like a nostalgia for being in school, carrying around book bags with I should say those book covers, they weren't just like book covers either. They were like basically canvases for drawing on as well. So like you would decorate your book and then you would write like, I don't know, like Metallica on it or whatever you listen to. I was a big I was a big grunge band uh fanatic. So for me it wasn't hair bands like Metallica or whatever. I always liked the Nirvanas and Pearl Jams and Soundgarden, all of those Seattle bands. Those were my things. So I wanted to get like a really good eye in here so that I can kind of show you the rest of the uh, technique. Let me kind of rush this up a little bit and kind of get a bit of an eyebrow in here. All right, so since I've got that in there, and I'm going to move on to working on the, yeah, all right, you get it, Kevin. It's on brown paper in the hopefully for a trout picture. I should have done that. That's a good point. Vertigo. Wasted opportunity. Let me blend this out real quick because I wanted to show you the other part of it. So this is where things are going to be a little bit different than my normal portraits or my normal charcoal pictures. So again, when dealing with charcoal, you usually on white paper, you usually deal with like the shadows and the midtones, and then your highlights are the paper itself because it's white. Here, you have the opportunity to use the brown as the midtone, right? So in this case, the midtone is going to be the brown, so that's going to be her skin, but her eyes are going to have some white in it. So you come in and you actually use a white charcoal pencil. Like in this case, it's actually pastel. There is no such thing as white charcoal. It's just what they call it. But you use this white to create the highlights. And this is where this sort of style of drawing really comes together, is these like highlights shown with the white. And I'm not going to overdo it because I still have a lot of picture left to do. I just wanted to kind of illustrate what the whole point of this is. We're 30 minutes into it. I might as well share with you guys what the point is. The point is you get this really cool contrast there. So you got the highlights and the shadows in there. All right, so now I'll go back to actually drawing. I just wanted to show what we're actually working on here and why. So I can actually throw in some other highlights here. And you can't do this on white paper. That's what kind of sucks. This is the whole point of using tone paper when drawing. It's just a lot of fun. For those of you who just draw with pencil on sketch paper, or draw in pencil in your like school notebook or something like that, give this a shot. Go and get some lunch bags and draw on that, and then get one of these white pencils. And you can use like a color pencil for it if you want, but in this case, we're using charcoal, so we would use pastel, a white pastel. But anyway, I think that's a cool look, and I think that it really livens up a drawing to work that way. Anyway, I just think it's cool. So that's why I thought we'd do one of these drawings today. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to creating those bottles. I kind of shot myself in the foot. In hindsight, I should have just went with I will paint the bottle and kind of left it open on how I was going to paint it. But I I don't know if they care. They didn't seem to mind. They seem to have like a lot of like giving their artists a lot of leeway in how they actually go about fulfilling their design. But I did say it was going to be a coffee painting, so I kind of shot myself in the foot because that's going to there's going to be a technical challenge there. I'm going to have to affix paper to that bottle somehow, and I'm going to want to make it look really cool. So I don't just want it to be like a label of paper or anything like that. I want there to be some coolness to it. So I think it's going to be a bit of a technical challenge that I didn't have to force myself into, but I kind of did. And that's all right. It'll be cool. Um, you know, that's part of the fun, though, I think. I've mentioned before, one of the real appeals to being an artist or just doing art in general, being creative, is to me, everything is problem solving. Like, it doesn't matter if you're doing art, if you're just trying to live your life, if you're a programmer, you know, it's all about problem solving. And there's certainly a lot of that in artistic endeavors because like even here it's like trying to create a three-dimensional likeness of a person on a two-dimensional object. So, that's going to be a challenge. And even though there's ways to make that happen, obviously, it's still, you're solving that problems as you're doing it. I do like the tone paper. Like, I just love it. I know, you see enough drawings and stuff like that. It's probably kind of boring to some of you guys, but I just love it. I just love the way these pictures look. It reminds me of the old artisans from back in the day, you know, the people who made their own paper. Like, I would love to do that, make my own paper. I've made paper before, like when I was in Boy Scouts as like a project or something like that. I would love to do that. You can make paper out of like all kinds of different things, and I think making my own tone paper would be cool. Maybe I'll give that a shot at some point soon. Hey, Steve. How about that weather lately? Steve lives kind of close to where I live. Man, the weather lately, it's been nice, except for today. It was raining, but the temperature is definitely feeling like spring out there in my neck of the woods. Like yesterday, man, I didn't want to do anything yesterday. I wanted to just go kayaking or something like that, just to be out of the house. So, a couple of little spots in the eyebrows where it catches the light. This is what's so cool about this. And then, you know, I kind of want her forehead to be catching that sun as well. So it's just those three tone or colors, three tones, whatever you want to call it. And they just work so well together. I can kind of blend this out a little bit, I think. Yeah. All right. Don't want to overdo it. Try to stick here. Just want to. Yeah. Oh, that's even better. That's cool. So you guys get to experiment with me as I experiment just to see. So I kind of like this a little bit better. I do like working with pastels, and so just get a little bit of highlight up there. Smooth it out a little bit, I think. There you go, catching that light. Bring her nose a little bit. I have trouble with noses, and either draw them too wide or too small. Like they're always these weird opposites. Oh, you got a foot of snow. Oh, I guess I shouldn't be talking about my 70-degree weather out here. I'm sorry about your foot of snow, man. Yeah, foot of snow, man. Did you switch usernames? Oh, okay, yeah, okay. You came back on your Tyler, man. You need to stick to one account, man. I have no idea who you are. So let that sun catch your nose. A lot of the definition of the nose is in lights. So like, it's kind of fun. Um, like nobody draws like this, at my age. But when I was a kid, you know, um, I used to draw noses where you'd have like a line here, and then you'd have the little nostril and a little line here. The problem is lines don't actually exist in nature. You have shapes, and there are no lines to a nose. You just have the contours of a, a shape, and it's kind of interesting. And instead of drawing lines, you just kind of mass in these shadows and highlights and stuff, and that creates your form. It's so weird when you think about how like you used to draw as a kid, and you're like, oh, I can draw well and everything, but yeah, it was more cartoony than real life actually is. I'm not in any hurry here, by the way. I'm just kind of like trying to get this form of a face in here. Hopefully you guys don't mind me taking my time here. I want this to be a showpiece. Part of my idea for getting this paper is again, it does come on a big roll. I want to say I got like, I don't know, I didn't spend a lot of money, but it was like 75 square feet. I don't know. It was a lot, but the I think the idea is that I can just kind of roll it out and draw like an entire human being, which is what I want to do. Like, I don't know what a human being. I was thinking maybe doing like a full-size Mandalorian. That would be kind of cool just because I'm like really into the Mandalorian. Can you draw a line mile hole? Come on, Pat. I don't even know what that is. Packer Jack is the king of dad jokes. And I thought I was. I thought I was pretty good at dad jokes. Packer Jack is like the master at it. Packer Jack is a dad himself, so it makes a lot of sense. He's probably got a lot of practice. Yeah, I think that looks so. I mean, the idea is these three tonal values working together creates this soft, you know. This is why it really works well for human portraits. Like theoretically, I could be doing, I don't know, like a shark or something that has like smooth body pieces or whatever. Um, but I just love how this makes a human face look when it comes to a drawing. You know, it's not like this is anything new. This is how a lot of people draw. Um, especially like old masters and such. I mean, really, that's all I want to do. I just want to copy the old masters. Leonardo da Vinci is my dude, but or Rembrandt actually. That it's tough. The two that I Leonardo da Vinci is my favorite artist, just because, well, he's everybody's favorite artist, so that's kind of lame. But truthfully, I respect the guy not just for his art, but also the science and his contributions there, and just his overall geniusness. That said, after him, probably the other artist that comes to mind that I really love is maybe Rembrandt. And what I like about Rembrandt is the how Rembrandt worked with light in his paintings. That is the kind of stuff I would like to mimic. So I would love to mimic Leonardo da Vinci just because he's a freaking genius. But Rembrandt's command of light would be awesome. And then, in terms of like doing portraits in general, John Singer Sargent is probably a hero of mine, but that's not like, again, everybody's hero when it comes to portraits. That guy was the master of the modern portrait. So, anyway, those are some of my favorite artists. Yeah, Willie, you can make your own cool wrapping paper. Yeah. The thing is, I'm not sure anybody actually uses this for wrapping paper anymore. I guess maybe like they do sell it as like packing paper. I mean, it's generic craft paper, so whatever that means. But they do sell it as packing paper as well, or wrapping paper. I guess packing paper is the thinner stuff that goes inside. Um, but then this stuff is like used to wrap things. But I don't think anybody does. Like if you got something under the Christmas tree wrapped in this brown paper, you would feel kind of cheated, wouldn't you? I don't know. But then like if you got a package in the mail or something wrapped in this, why not? Why wouldn't it just be in a box? That's what I don't get. I don't understand why this is wrapping paper. It's confusing me. My entire worldview is like shattered here. I don't know why. It's confusion. All right, I think that's a good looking nose there. That's a pretty solid nose. There's some touch-ups here. So again, take advantage of this white highlight. I can come in and kind of further define this outer side here. So that side of that nostril. Get some white highlights in there. And now that nostril just, all of that just looks really realistic. And then to a lesser degree down here. But again, I don't want to overdo it because the actual midtone is the brown. So I don't want it to be all white. I want that brown to show through. Because that brown takes some of the burden off of like what we have to do with shadows. What's that, Tyler? Used to love that show. Dang it, what show did I mention? Oh, you're talking about Packer Jack's show. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, screw it. I'm talking about. I don't know what to like. I'm sitting here thinking like, what show did I mention? I don't remember. Hey, has anybody seen that Shogun show on FX? It keeps popping up in my recommendeds, and I haven't seen it, but that's the kind of show I want to see. Like I'm into like the whole Shogun thing. Shoguns, ninjas. Like you're either into like American cowboys or you're into like Japanese like samurai. And for me, it's always been the samurai. So I definitely want to see. I want to see. I was just wondering if anybody thought it was good. Like if anybody has seen it. If so, definitely let me know. Um, anyway, I want to call attention to the fact that this is different than my normal charcoal pictures that I do. For anybody who's paying attention, usually I just come in and create like a big mass of form, and then kind of carve out features from that. Here I'm drawing more traditionally, and I just wanted to call attention to that because the the method here is a more traditional way of drawing. So even though I don't know, like to you guys, you may notice, you may not, the difference. I just wanted to call attention to it just because it is different, and I'm trying to flex my not flex as in like I'm trying to flex on you guys. I'm trying to flex my range as far as skill sets go. So like I want to be able to create like this abstract um, kind of process where I'm doing this expressives in this, and then I also want to be able to like draw more precisely like I am doing here in a more traditional route. The style of drawing, it's called a couple of different things, but like one that you guys might recognize is Conti drawing, they have a kind of done more like with the sepia tone. I think it's almost like a pastel, but it's very common amongst like Renaissance artists to draw in this style, if that makes sense. Oh, Kevin says he heard it was good. Cool. Hopefully you're talking about the Shogun thing. Yeah, I'm gonna start watching it. I just haven't done it yet, and it looks good. It looks like it's going to be good. But then again, like all those movies look good, you know. And I don't want to just kind of lump them in together. I'm aware that there's differences between like kung fu movies and ninja movies and all that stuff. I'm just saying that like this movie looks like it's one of those good type uh, martial art type films. Or not just necessarily martial arts, but just the time period and stuff. The Shogun time period, the time period of the samurai. For those of you who haven't seen it, I still highly recommend Blue Eyed Samurai, which is the animated film on or the animated series on Netflix. That is awesome. Blue Eyed Samurai, the Spider-Man cartoons that came out. Let's see, Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, or hmm, I don't know if Across the Spider-Verse is that. I don't remember what the last one was, but anyway, the Spider-Man one, oh man, just works of art. Beautiful, beautiful movies. In a time where, there's not all that great of movies coming out lately, that stuff is awesome. Although Blue Eyed Samurai, that's more like a series. All right, so now the real challenge here is that I really like this eye. I like this nose. I've got to make this other eye look as good. And since I am right-handed, I have to reach across this picture. So these are like some of the challenges that artists face when they kind of box themselves into a corner on their drawing. Kind of screwed myself here. I should have. That's the other thing is like usually I draw and I work all the way across the picture, so I don't end up encountering a situation like this. But no, just pivot and work with it. Hey, Brian Gates. Brian Gates says, I should come clean. I've been duplicating your art and signing it to Leroy. Very profitable. Well, got to get by somehow in this world, right? You say the sincerest form of flattery is outright theft. So who am I to say that you're doing the wrong thing? Now, if you want to share a cut with me, that would be awesome. Oh, Kung Fu Panda, yeah, I love Jack Black. Yeah, that's always a good time. I forgot about that. Like you sometimes forget about shows like that just because there's been so many of them. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The other thing is Dune Part Two is in theaters, and I really want to see that. I rewatched Dune One. Like I was gonna go and watch Dune Two, but I didn't feel like doing it until I had rewatched Dune One just so that I was kind of caught up. So I'm probably gonna do that maybe next weekend or this coming up weekend, maybe. I don't know. But the that's such a great story. That's such a great story. If people are the least bit into sci-fi, it's not really the story so much. The story is kind of like archetypal. Um, the scenery, the scenery is really what I mean. That is all that. So some basic anatomy here. You have the eye. Should probably talk about drawing the eye. So the eye is like it kind of comes off looking almost different shapes and stuff. You know, some people draw like a football or like an almond or something like that. And these are all fine and everything, but you got to remember underneath all the skin, the eyeball is literally a ball, right? So you got to account for the ball. So in here, you got kind of like I don't know this weird looking football thing, but the eyeball actually extends up here into this like fatty bit underneath the eyebrow. So the eyeball kind of would create a shadow up here, right? And then the eyeball extends down here, creating this shadow that's beneath the eye. So you look at these shadows and stuff, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm just going to draw the shadows that I see. But it helps to know what's going on underneath. And the other thing is, so you realize that this lid, as it comes back up, like when you open your eyes and stuff, it kind of gets tucked back into that bit. So you end up with this like you end up with two lines. Basically, the line that kind of forms where the lashes are, and then you have this tucked up eye, which of course you wouldn't see if the eyes were closed or something like that. And then all of this would be cast in shadow, depending on the lighting, but most lighting. You know, you can draw this stuff without even looking at a reference picture, just because you know how the anatomy is basically working underneath it. Well, he said, "Do put me to sleep immediately." Yeah, I can see that, but it's really pretty though. It's a beautiful cinematic piece. But yeah, there were parts that were kind of slow. My understanding is that part two is a little bit better. Like they had to do some world building for part one. It was a little bit of a snooze thing. Um, I totally respect that opinion. I struggled to stay awake during parts of it, but it was still it was beautiful. So it captured my attention. Just like that whole sandy kind of aesthetic. I would love to live in the desert. Anywho, hey, Trustin, how's it going? Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, the idea on this one is to shoot for realism, but also again, part of the appeal of drawing, and it has been forever. This isn't just nowadays. Especially back in the day. Back in the day before they had like cameras and microscopes and scientific tools and stuff for studying people and anatomy and stuff like that. It was the artist drawing observations of what they saw and everything. So there's a long history of art and science going hand in hand, and especially art and anatomy, right? Like how do human bodies work, and how do what's going on underneath the skin. You don't see. I don't know. Maybe like during the 1800s they went out and chopped people up like Frankenstein or something like that, but or autopsy or whatever. But back in maybe the Middle Ages and stuff, they didn't do that kind of stuff. I don't really know. I'm not like a historian, but my guess is they didn't. So you had to look at the thing that you're drawing and really, really intently focus on what you're drawing, to see how, skull and muscle and bones and such affect what you actually end up seeing. So what you end up seeing, of course, is a beautiful girl, right? But underneath that beautiful girl, you actually have muscles and you have bones and, all that stuff. That's what art's about. Rum Dog says, it's not theft if you're a green screen kid. Hater asks, Jeremy, did you intentionally choose to wear the Guinness t-shirt during your visit to the Maker's Mark office? No, like, honestly, I put on that shirt before I even got the email saying I was accepted. So I was already wearing that shirt today when I got that email. And I'm like, oh man, I'm going to run down there and grab that bottle now before they change their mind. I really didn't think they'd change their mind, but yeah, I wanted to make sure I got that bottle as soon as possible. So that is kind of funny though. But no, I was already wearing the Guinness shirt. Guinness is one of my favorite drinks. I know it's not for everybody. It's kind of got a very strong taste to it, but I love it. All right, let me smooth some of this out. I think I need to add some lashes in there too. Get some shadow in here. I love charcoal for how easy it is to smooth out. And you don't have to do all this stuff. There's an argument to be made for leaving in pencil marks that demonstrate, you know, what the artist was doing and so on. But I do like how smooth of a form you get from blending out this stuff. So now, again, if you're working on white paper, the process is, say you wanted to do these highlights, you would come in and you would start lifting up some of this charcoal in order to create highlights. Here, the process is, if we wanted to create highlights, we would actually use the white charcoal or pastel, which is more technically correct, which I will do forthwith. I just wanted to get some of this done. Oh man, I have a hard time pronouncing that name, Vertigo. Ki Huan, I think. I have his autograph. I have Ki Huan's autograph in a Thrill of the Chase book, believe it or not. I got that from Copper Dan, and it's one of my prized possessions because, like, not only does it have Forrest Swinn's autograph in it, it has Ki Huan and Sean Astin, all the Goonies. It's so cool. But I would love to meet him in real life. Like growing up, Short Round is my hero. All right. So anyway, now that I've got that in there, watch how this kind of changes when I start adding some highlight. Again, this is where you would normally use a kneaded eraser to kind of lift up um, the charcoal. Highlights in here. Highlights in here. Let's see. At the corner, this is important, like at the corner of the eye, usually, especially on, let's see, I should probably extend this one over. But at the corner of the eye, it's usually lit up right through here. And I think that adding that just really creates that depth to that eye. So just these little highlights just really bring it together. Little highlight underneath here. So again, three-dimensionality, you got these like little clamps or like clams that like close over your eyes. Well, they have this like little ridge here. This little, I guess like tear grabber or whatever you want to call it. I have no idea what these names are of these body parts and stuff. I just noticed that they're there. So like every eye is going to have this highlighted area down here. And if you get those in there, your picture is going to look super realistic. And of course, since this side's over in the light, go ahead and start getting some of the highlights through here. I don't have to spend a lot of time, shading these midtone areas because, again, the underlying brown paper kind of does a lot of that work for you. You just want to catch the areas that are being lit up by, in this case, I'm going to call it moonlit light, but whatever you want to call it, you can call it sunlight, you can call it moonlight. The other thing is, and I'll probably do another picture in the future with pastels, like colored pastels. It doesn't have to be black and white. On this tone paper, like colored pastels work really well too. And then, you can theoretically, or I'm not even gonna say theoretically, you can definitely use colored pencils as well. I just really like using charcoal and pastels just because of the easy to blend factor, the easiest smooth these things out. So I definitely need to smooth down here because this is starting to look like a beard. The bearded one. There you go. Smooth some of that up so that it doesn't look like a beard. Yeah, Leonardo da Vinci did do autopsies. I think that's where a lot of modern science came from. Any big cardboard boxes are no longer serviceable for my daughter's uh, box forts. Get turned into drawing pads for her. Nice. I love the idea of using cardboard boxes as forts. We did that when I was a kid. My dad was in the military, so we moved around a lot, like basically every 2 years. And that was kind of like a tradition, is when we got to where we were going, all the boxes from the move became like a big old box fort for us. So that was, I don't know if that's like a normal thing with army brats and, kids of military kids and stuff, but that was definitely a tradition in our house. Because again, we moved every 2 years, so it's like we never ran short of having boxes. Some flashes in here. So the lashes don't have to be like perfect unless you're like super zoomed in or whatever. You just kind of have to have these lines going over that double line bit. So you have these two lines here. The lashes kind of come over them, and then kind of get like blended into the darkness around it or the shadow around it. There you go. I think that looks like a pretty realistic eye. All right. Get some of this going down here. Okay. So here, this mound of the mouth, it probably has a name. I should really look up the names for all these things. But again, the anatomy of it is that you have this mound that makes your mouth and your lips and so on, and those cause the lights and the shadows to kind of like you know act in different ways. So like you're gonna have this white area above, almost like a milk mustache, but not quite. And then depending on the age of a person or whatever, you might have like a crease here or something like that. Usually with like young women or children or something like that, you're not going to have a crease there. And if you do put in a crease, like even if you see a crease, you might want to think about whether or not as an artist you want to put that in there, because it's not all about realism. Sometimes it's a little bit about vanity. So if you're doing a portrait of a woman who's, I don't know, in her 20s or something like that, and you do see like a little bit of a crease forming there, don't even draw it, because like you can get by with not having that sort of super detail and stuff. And if she's of that age and stuff like that, she would probably appreciate you not aging her up too much. You have to be careful not to overage people. It's always a struggle. Um, like for even artists of like a lot of experience or something like that. Jeremy, I just opened the Maker's Mark whiskey bottle that I purchased for $35 from Tesco. After spotting your post on the community page. Nice. Well, good luck there, man. Yeah, I do like Maker's Mark. It's a solid brand. I'm not I'm not here to endorse Maker's Mark. I should be clear about that. Um, I don't endorse really any kind of brand at all. I I mentioned what drinks I drink, just because I enjoy them. Uh, everybody has their own taste. So, like, I would not go off and buy a particular brand of bourbon just because I'm drinking it. Um, you know, buy it because you may want to try it or something. I don't know, but don't buy it because I recommend it. Uh, when it comes to Maker's Mark, I'm doing this because like it's to support the Lexark program in Lexington. So like they're a nonprofit organization that exists to um, strengthen the art community in Lexington. And they have a lot of programs and they have like a lot of activities going on throughout the year. These are all things that I fully support. So um, I'm not knocking Maker's Mark themselves. I'm just saying that I'm more into it for the Lex Arts support, which, artists, artist programs, things like that, they always need your support. So, support your local artists, support your local art programs. These things sometimes get love from, the government and the business community and things like that, but not always. It always seems to take a back seat, especially like in schools and stuff. I feel like art programs kind of take a back seat to things like sports and actual education. I don't know. So always support the arts when you can. And that's what's cool about the thing. It's like, I get to have fun creating these fun little bottles of art, but then also that art gets auctioned off and it goes to a good cause. So how awesome is that? Trusted Living said a lot of great crazy stories going around. A lot of crazy stories. I don't know what you're talking about. What sort of crazy stories have you heard? I deny each and every one of them. They're all falsehoods. They're all lies. I really like the using this charcoal in the eyes and stuff to make these really, really. I wish I could zoom in. I need to get a camera that allows me to zoom in so that I can show you guys the detail on some of these things. All right, so how are we doing on time? Oh, we're only an hour in. Cool. I think I can finish a fix in an hour. That's good. Oh, get some of this. Now I will cheat and revert to a technique that is used in regular charcoal just to get this kind of reflected light going on her lip. So this the bottom of her lip has a little bit of highlight, but it's not the white highlight, right? So you still work with your same tools to get, your dark shades and everything working correctly. But then you come back with that white highlight that really, really stands out. I'll show you here in the lip after I get it kind of penciled in how that really translates. And again, I want to stress that you don't have to use, I love the texture of this, I really do, but you don't have to use this kind of brown packing paper to do your art. And again, you only really have to use the brown packing paper if you want to preserve the quality of it and make sure you get that acid free stuff. But you can use like brown paper bags and stuff from the supermarket otherwise. But you don't even have to do all that. You can go to the art store and you can buy tone paper, and the process is going to be the same. So basically, I wanted to encourage people who do like to draw to kind of think beyond the white page, that we all kind of like end up getting when we first start out. Think beyond that white page and think of how you can like, use tone paper to elevate your drawings. Your drawings are still going to be cool regardless, but you're trying to elevate your drawing to the next level. Hey, Rum Dog applied for a graphic arts job. That's cool. Dang, 51 an hour. What? If you're getting paid $51 an hour to do graphic arts, sign me up. That's awesome. Some cases you don't even get paid that for programming. That's awesome, man. I hope that works out for you, Rome. I really do. I've seen Rum Dog's art. For those of you who haven't been to his channel to check out his art, he's really good. And I think you have a shot at getting that job there, Rum Dog. That'd be awesome. In the UK, the Maker's Mark is not as well known, and I personally found it slightly fruity and sweet taste. Hey, I can see that. And yeah, I don't know if bourbon is as crazy in other parts of the world as it is here in the US. I know that in Japan they're really into it, but I don't know about like European countries. I would assume it's kind of gotten to the point where it's worldwide. Again, in the United States, bourbon used to be like the poor man's drink. It was what people drank when they couldn't afford proper whiskey. You know, proper whiskey back in the day was rye based. It wasn't the corn based or whatever. It's so strange that it's been in recent years that bourbon has really shot to the forefront of what people prefer. And yeah, bourbon is corn based versus rye. And back in the day, that was kind of considered the you know poor man's drink. It's just fascinating to me. Willie Nilly says, I'm learning a lot on this one. Thanks, Jeremy. I have a hard time drawing realistic people. Thank you. I appreciate that because, like, I sometimes I wonder, like, what's this commentary for? You know, because I struggle with it. Like, I don't always know exactly what to say to explain what I'm doing. So I do appreciate that you are enjoying that. But yeah, so like the whole idea here, just to kind of recap, is that you have your basic shadows, midtones, and highlights. And, you guys have seen me do quite a few charcoal pictures. So the difference here is that the tone paper itself is going to be your midtones, right? So you don't have to worry about as much charcoal going in there to create those midtones, which you would normally have to do. You would have to draw all that midtones, which the charcoal just make it really light. Your concerns are instead shadows and and then highlights, right? And then the highlights become so striking. This white, it becomes so much more striking than it would be if it was like just basically, um, on white paper or something like that, where it was left blank. That's what I like about it. And again, I'm going to do more drawings about this, like in this way in the future and stuff as I learn. So don't feel like, if you're not getting it, don't worry about it too much because like I will continue practicing with this myself. So we'll talk about it more. But I do encourage, yeah, give it a shot. So like, almost just like I encourage just putting down a bunch of charcoal and then doing some lifts with the kneaded eraser to pull up bits. I encourage people to do this as well and just practice with it, see if you like it, see what you get out of it. I've done a lot of different things. I've tried a lot of different things with my drawings and stuff like that. I don't like all of the stuff that I do, and I definitely get some favorite techniques out of it. This is one of my favorite techniques, just because I like how it looks. I think it looks great. It does look realistic. I think I need to lift this eye up a little bit. Yeah. All right. So let's see what I missing here. When I was a child, I thought it was fun catching adders. I don't know what an adder is. Are they freaking poisonous, Trusted? I'm thinking an adder is a snake. Um, Kevin seems to know what an adder is. Everybody knows what an adder is but me. I'm going to assume it's a snake from context. Maybe a spider. No, you don't usually catch spiders. Yeah, it's going to be a snake. Hey, Rome, you started that design firm. Give me a holler. Can work for you. All right. So, now that I got some of that stuff in, let me return back to this lip because I'm not done with this lip. So, again, so you got some shadows in here. The paper itself is your midtones, but then you got this like little area where the light catches on the top of the lip, and then you can kind of use that to put in some texture on this lip, which is kind of cool. Almost as I don't know, like women they wear shiny stuff on their mouths. I don't even like lip gloss, maybe. I don't know, like shiny. Like they put down color and then they put stuff over it, whatever that is. That all that stuff that women do, it catches the light. And then the light catches other parts like the around here and stuff like that, which may not be all shiny from lip gloss or whatever, but it's still gonna catch that light. And then kind of bring that down, and then that mound that makes up the thing that kind of comes over. And then this kind of comes down too. And again, I really only want to do it to a small degree. It's only supposed to be highlights, right? It's not supposed to be like the whole face shouldn't be white. You want to use it to kind of like punch up some areas, which makes it look really really cool. So like I punch up that. Again, for some reason, there's this like little ridge around. It looks like a milk mustache. Go ahead and lighten that up so that ridge really pops out, and then kind of blend that into the other parts. Especially the Cupid's bow, you kind of want to highlight that bit. It just looks cool, and I don't know why, but in every portrait I ever see, this part where the lip and the not lip, the lip and the not lip meet, it's always like this really highlighted ridge, which seems odd to me because it doesn't seem like there would be that much of a crease there, but I don't know. It just seems to be the way these things go. So I see that I'm kind of giving her a bit of a sour expression here. So I'm going to add a little bit more light and kind of blend it out. And all right, so now she's got more of a neutral expression than a sour expression. Curl up. All right, now she doesn't look so sour. There you go. Just kind of get a little bit of a curl on her mouth. It's so weird. Just little subtle things create an expression. Like she still seems a little bit bored, but she doesn't look depressed. Bring this eye a little bit over so that it doesn't look like it's so far off. And then I think sorry, talking to myself here, but I wanted to get that. It's kind of adjusting this eye a little bit so that it doesn't, I don't like the angle. I think I like that a little bit better. Bring this up a little bit more, bring that up a little bit more. Just making some adjustments. I think it's real subtle, but I think that little bit there does improve it a bit. I don't know. I'll let you guys judge me. Like judge me harshly, guys. Yeah, all right. I think that that's a little bit better. Bring that light around there. It's hard. Little details matter so much, you know. Go ahead and get some white going through here, but not too much because it is darker over here than it is over there. But I do want to make a little bit of a tonal lift over the base of the brown. There we go. Yeah, it's the snake, Jeremy. I thought maybe an adder was a snake, but I didn't really know. I'm not very good at most things. I don't know things that other people know. I'm not a smart guy. I mean, I don't know. I'm not dumb, but I do have to like look a lot of things up that people are talking about. I'm really good at judging context. All right, so again, talking about shadows. So we've got, how are we doing on time? All right, so I have a whole face over here of shadows, so I need to get working on that. In fact, let me let's see how quickly I can get that going with one of these. Just thought I'd speed it up a bit with the stick. So somewhere around here, I want to say about here, it's going to be like an ear, the ear hole. I'm sure you guys have a laugh when I come up with like words to describe these things. That you guys probably actually know what these things are called, but I just basically gave her an ear and called it an ear hole. I'm sure there's a better term for this part of the ear, you know, like the inner part. I don't know. It's definitely probably not an ear hole, but that's what I'm going to call it. Okay, so all of this is like super shadowed down here, but I'll come back to this later. I know that she's got a shoulder here that I kind of want to rough in. So I'm not too worried about detail in these areas. We've talked before about how like the closer you are to the focal point, it really matters. Like through here, all of this really matters. The further you get away, it can be more abstract. In fact, maybe arguably it should because that kind of focuses your attention on these other areas. But anyway, I feel like that's enough to kind of just come back in and start worrying about how these things actually look. Let's soften up this bit here. The ear canal, there you go. Ear canal. That makes a lot of sense actually. Not even a hole, it's a canal. The ear canyon. Yeah, maybe I should crack open an anatomy textbook sometime or something and just kind of like if I'm going to be drawing faces, it seems like there's not that many parts to a face. I can learn all of the essential pieces in like one sitting. I don't know. But yeah, something told me ear hole it doesn't sound it doesn't sound right. Also called the external acoustic meatus. What the heck? You must be in like the medical field or something. Probably dealing with like ear infections. Maybe I don't know. It seems like kids always have like ear infections. Maybe you're like a school nurse or something like that. Or maybe just a mom. Like people have to deal with their kids getting ear infections all the time. I forget words all the time too. That's the thing. So like, oh, you Googled it? That's cheating. That's what I do. Yeah. Um, I always make the joke like, I don't know everything. Wait, hold on. I make the joke like, yes, sorry, I screwed that up. I make the joke that I know everything, I just don't remember it all at once. There we go. That's that's what I meant to say. I know everything, I just don't remember it all at once. Which basically means I Google a lot. Like I am fairly confident that I can look something like that up. And I will get to the correct answer. So um these these shadows that I'm creating with the charcoal here. All right, so that looks pretty cool, but that's not enough. The shadows go into again the midtones, and that looks good. I'm happy with that. But then where's the rest of the form of her face there? So like, I feel like we need to really bring this up. I feel like this is kind of a little bit down. So let me lift her face a little bit and blend that in. All right, so get this ridge going here. I don't like this dark line I had in here. I'm gonna lift that up. So you can still use some of these techniques that you've done in like other charcoal pictures. Like you can still use your kneaded eraser to kind of lift pieces up. But then I want to create a little bit of direction there. We have some highlights coming off of here. I feel like that looks pretty good. So I feel like we lifted that side up a little bit, which is good. It was droopy before. I'm not saying it's perfect yet, but I feel like I can get these things looking a little bit better. Highlight is going to catch the light on that side. I don't know who this is looking like yet. Like sometimes when these pictures start coming together, they start looking like a particular person. Who's the girl who plays the new Hawkeye? Something Haley something other. Thinking this is maybe starting to look like her, even though that's unintentional. So the cool thing is you can make like little minor adjustments and still move things around. So like I feel like I've moved this eye up just with like little tiny adjustments. It's kind of neat. Yeah, IT. Yeah, of course we Google everything. Oh, Heidi's in here. Sorry, I missed you, Heidi. How's it going? Thank you. All right, so for this, just gonna get some forehead in here. Somewhere around here, I think, is where the hairline would be. So let me kind of smooth that out a little bit. So that's not so rough. I want to completely smooth it out. Got to be a little careful with smoothing so that on when it's really smooth paper like this, you have to be more careful with your smoothing that you're not picking pieces up off the paper. It's a little bit of a challenge. All right. I want to adjust this a little bit. Little micro adjustments. Okay, so I feel like through here, we'll lighten that up. So this is again what I'm talking about. So like here, it's kind of like a little bit bland, right? So like you come in here, And you can work this highlight on her chin and really kind of make that pop out. It's just little things like this. It's just phenomenal how much of a change it makes in the picture. And if I smooth this out, kind of get it working into some of these other areas, start getting that realistic looking chin, I think. And again, this is Haley. Thank you, Haley Steinfeld. That's right. Yeah, she's been in other things too. I just don't remember any of them. It's like, of course, me being a Marvel fan, I remember her like role in Marvel, but she's been in other things too. I don't think this really looks like her, but it kind of looks like her a little bit, at least to me. So, oh, this is a lot darker through here, I think. That I don't. It's not the reference picture I'm looking at. Uh, it's not like I'm trying to draw her or anything like that. I think it's just kind of coming through a little bit. These things happen, you know. You start drawing something and ends up looking like something else. Also, I have comics on my mind. I'm going to that comic con this weekend, and I was thinking about bringing a sketchbook with me, maybe drawing things while I'm there, especially if like I get bored. Because I am volunteering, so there's probably going to be a lot of downtime. I'm just there to help, like with control traffic or whatever. I don't know what they're gonna have me do. It's come down a little bit. Yeah, making little adjustments here and there. That's what's great about these pictures. Until you're done, you can continue working it, controlling it. So I want this eyebrow to be adjusted. Like I had this eyebrow going up higher, but like pulling it down makes a little bit more sense. A little facial reconstruction here. Hey Heidi, busy with work this week, but I'm happy to say I started a new painting tonight. Congratulations. Be a work in progress. So I know that a lot of you guys are artists and you guys create stuff and everything. I would love my email address is on um, like the channel page. There used to be like an about page, but I think it's all just in the description now. Uh, I would love to see some of your guys' work if you ever want to send it to me. We had I had a stream last year that it was fun. Got some of the community members to send in their artwork, and we had a kind of a show and tell. I would love to do that again sometime. So like, if you do get that painting done and you want to share it with everybody, that would be awesome. I Even if we're not doing like a big old gigantic, show and tell full on episode, we can still do, like at the start of every stream or something. Like if somebody has sent in something that they did, I can show that off before I actually get into like doing any kind of my own work. So if you guys would like to do that, I'm all for it because I know that it helps to get the support from the community and stuff. It it really does go a long way. I know that it helps me. So if you guys want to share your artwork on the stream, I am so into that. I think that would be cool. So like I don't have a ton of viewers or a ton of subscribers or whatever, but if you guys want to show off your stuff to the small amount that I do have, I'm totally into that. There you go. I feel like that's a bit of an adjustment. And then raise this one up over here to match. You got to make sure that they're kind of consistent. And I'm not filling it yet, but I think we'll get there just by making these like little minor adjustments. It looks better than it did a moment ago. She's got kind of a smooth three-dimensional face forming here, which is cool. Feels a bit like a doll or something, a porcelain doll, but not really. Yeah, whenever you send it. And then, just let me know if you want me to share it or not. I mean, it's entirely up to you. And if you do want me to share it, maybe I'll even post it to the community tab or something, even if I'm not showing it in like a live stream. But I think that'd be kind of cool, like a community show and tell type deal. But these soft portraits, and I feel like if I can spend a lot more time on this than I have been, and you know, really get something that's super soft and very Renaissance looking. But I feel like you guys get the idea of what we're doing here. You end up with these like really soft portraits that do feel like they're out of the Renaissance. All right, let me kind of. So the neckline is going to be kind of straight down from the corner of her mouth, essentially. Kind of down here. She's got a little bit of a clavicle. I know that one. Those are clavicles. She's got a little bit of a clavicle here. So I don't need to get too far down, but I do kind of want to like emphasize the bone structure of this so that I can have this like little highlight here. We've got whatever this part is. I don't know. The neck, whatever. Get some tone in here. The trachea. I will look all of this stuff up and figure out what all these body parts are. Because, like you end up drawing them enough, you really should know. I need to learn the horse ones too because I end up drawing a lot of horses. So from the bottom of the lip over the mouth over here, this kind of forms a ridge. It's a super dark. And this kind of comes up into the cheek. And up here, this is all dark. I need to come in with like the how do I do it this way? And from here, and this is all black as well. So I just kind of really want to get this rubbed in. All right, and then smooth it the closer it is to the skin. It doesn't matter if it's rough out here so much, or at least your own art style or whatever. But to me, I don't really care about that rough stuff. I think it looks fine. But the closer it is to the skin, I at least let me smooth some of that out. But the closer it is to the skin, I want it to be smooth because it kind of represents her skin and not the background at that point. All right, kind of rough this in. Now through here, it's like how she kind of has her. I bet you guys get a kick out of that too, like that. Me trying to act out these poses. Um, just the way she has her neck, it's the shadow through here, and kind of bring that in, shadow all through down here. Let me kind of, so I'm actually adding it. So I'm using my finger as a brush, right? And I'm adding the charcoal directly to it. So it's weird, but for these soft shapes, it kind of works. Okay. And they're only going to be soft shapes for a minute. Okay. Let me, got an ear somewhere around here. So her ear kind of come off the nose a little bit below, so it's like right around here. Kind of lined up with this other ear across. Again, it's that relational mapping that I've talked about in past ones. So she has a streak of her hair coming down through here, so I don't want to mess with that too much. But I do kind of want to shade all of this in. Got maybe some hair up here or something like that. Again, I'm not, all of this can be like loose and free and stuff like that. I'm basically mapping out her, like where her hair would be. Let me drink here real quick. We can worry about the details of that hair later, but right now I kind of want to create this like halo around her essentially that represent her hair. Now through here it kind of gets a little bit dark. And light being the way it is, all of this is kind of cast in dark. Through here she had an ear. I want to obscure that. And her back comes down here, right? So again, you can get kind of nuts with it, but every part that's like near her body, smooth that out. And then the rest of this, I don't care. You know, that can be rough. Roughen the shape of her hair. It's nice to use your fingers as a paintbrush, you know. It's again, I just love the feel of this kind of stuff. I love to get my hands dirty. Make sure we don't cover up that ear hole. Thanks, Richard. All right. Okay, so now let's think about her back. So her back's got some shading through it too. She has like this bit here. All right, so all that's good. Okay, now let me wipe my hands real quick. I know it doesn't look like much yet, but give it a moment. Uh, yeah, a kid has a room full of raccoons, like at least raccoon pictures. And that one raccoon picture that I drew, um, that's actually hanging up on her in her raccoon inspired room. It's really cool. Like she shared that picture, and I think it looks really nice. So the neckline kind of comes through here, right? And then we've got another little piece here that kind of comes up into this bit here. And we can smooth some of this other stuff out, but really what I wanted to get into is this bit here. So she's got this shoulder kind of, I'm trying to like, there you go, kind of leaning in. So right there here, we have basically that rounded shoulder. Now the reason I'm drawing all of this is because I want to add, I'll do it here in a minute, but like I don't care about all of this. What I really wanted to do was add this, right? So I wanted to add the highlight. that's catching on her shoulder, which I think is cool, you know. Yeah, her raccoon room. So I wanted to catch that light on her shoulder, kind of bring it up into. Now it's not going to go into these areas because again, this represents the highlight, but it would be right around this ridge here, which is made up of her shoulder kind of leaning in or some junk. And we can smooth this out. We can make it look as, you know, as smooth as the face and everything, um, which we might get to, but I'm not that concerned about it at this point. I just kind of wanted to make sure that these things are in there so that, you know, we can move on. But this hair here, going to have some highlights here. And then we're going to have a little wisp come down. And we're going to bring that up. We're going to bring her here. All right, so I think here I need to work with the pencil. Get this ear hole working right. She had basically like an ear, whatever this thing is. Come down, a little round bit here. This is where her earring would go if I wanted to draw an earring, but I don't think I'm going to bother. Like I just like the shapes here. I don't feel like you know, giving her like a necklace or anything like that or other accoutrements. So it looks kind of cool. All right, let's create some definition through here. Right here. And it's just fading out. We're doing real time. All right, need to get the other side over here kind of working as well. So I need this to be more defined. And then this can kind of shade in through here. I feel like I need to get my blender out. Dog Bandit is full-blooded. I wish I had named my dog Bandit. She is such a bandit. She's a trash bandit. She's basically a trash panda. So she's like a raccoon herself. Grab this. Blend some of this stuff in. So, you know, like if you are interested in the art of it and not just like, hey, is a cool picture going to come out of this? What you're doing is refining shapes and smoothing them out and kind of making them work as you're like building form, I guess, is a way to put it. I don't know if I'm putting it very well, but the whole exercise here, yeah, I want this to kind of come across here. The whole exercise here is to let the brown of the paper do like a lot of that work. Mm. Because then, you know, like the brown is making up all those midtones, then you're just concerned about these shadows and how they work, and then how does the highlights work with those shadows, and so on. And I think this is turning out reasonably well as an exercise in that regard. I keep working on that, Rich. But wonder what she's looking at. What do you want her to look at? It's entirely up to you, man. Oh yeah, yeah. Send me. Like guys, if you've got pictures of your dogs and stuff, and you want me to draw them, I have to be drawing something. Like I'm more than happy to draw you guys as pets. You know. And if you guys want to send me a tip, that's cool. But that's not what it's about. It's really about like I enjoy doing this, and I have to draw something. So like, might as well draw the pets of the people who are watching. Drawing pets is like my go-to thing. I really enjoy drawing people's pets. I really enjoy drawing things that people care about. Like if this was somebody's you know, like daughter or girlfriend or wife or whatever, that would make me a lot happier than just drawing this random picture. I want to draw things that people care about. Now, I practice on random people so that when I do have to draw something that somebody does care about, like I need to draw somebody's, significant other or something like that, then I have the skills to do it. But beyond that, it doesn't matter to me what I'm drawing. There you go. She does look sad, but Richard, like that's just how art is. Like you want everybody to be happy, but then it wouldn't look like a good picture then. If you want like a cool artistic picture, they have to have some sort of sad expression. I think that's just the way it is. Like otherwise it wouldn't be, I don't know. Like you have to tell a story there. Like I don't know what story is being told here, but um, if she was just happy or something. I don't know how much of a story there'd be. I guess she could be happier. I admit that. Like I don't feel like I got a full expression that I wanted to get there. Can maybe kind of curl up the lips a little bit. I don't know, crinkle the eyes. Maybe she'd be a little bit happier. Don't know. I didn't intentionally make her look sad. Like I want her to be happy. Now I kind of want her to be happy, but I don't know how to make her happy now. We might have we might have passed that point. Like maybe she's just gonna be sad. I'm sorry about that. Shadow going in here. So you really got to work these shadows and highlights and stuff over and over and over until you get them right. Because like you guys may not have seen, but if like you were watching this in a time lapse, you would definitely see how pieces of her face have moved subtly, like without you guys even noticing. I'm like making little corrections and moving pieces of her face around. That's just the way it goes. And like you really don't see that until like you watch the time lapse and you see how things kind of come together. That's great. I have to get up. Okay, Larry, have a good one, man. Yeah, I'm almost done anyway. Enjoy your day at work tomorrow. Nellie says she doesn't have to look happy. She's mad that someone ate the last cookie in the cookie. Yeah, right. She's pissed about that. Like that was her cookie. Freaking people. They didn't even ask. Like they didn't even tell her. She just looks in the cookie jar and it's just not there and stuff. She was like totally into that. She was like looking forward to it. I mean, That's just rude. All right, so here I kind of want. I don't want to get crazy like with the details of the hair. I just kind of want an impressionistic hair. She's saying everything is fine. All fine. She's probably staring at me, pissed that I'm not doing a better job of drawing her. But I mean, not that good. That's the problem. Not that great at drawing pictures yet. But I'm getting better. It's so much better. Again, I'm not going crazy on detail on this hair. I just kind of want to, for the sake of time, just kind of impressionistically or expressionistically. There you go. Put that in there. And then I think I could put in some um, some general highlights that'll help sell the idea that there is a massive hair up here. My hair Starbucks coffee, she'll be happy. Yeah, she's pissed because she didn't have a Starbucks coffee. I like it. So I do think that like once you get the details of the face in there, because that is a focal point, the more you get away from that area, the more abstract you can be and the more expressive. And this is really where you start having some fun with it and stuff because like you're just wanting to get the idea of different features in there. So like I want the idea that there is a hair that kind of comes out and around there, and then you get some little wisps. So little features, I guess. A bit of an ear in here. I think that's about where the ear. No, the ear should be down here. Work that a little bit. Yeah. So she's kind of got this like little elf-like look to her face. I like that. I think that's cool. Darken in some areas. Um, okay. Sorry. Sorry, I'm lost in features that I can be improving. Let me drink some of this. So I think at this point, yeah, I'm in like little touch me ups area. So This is this is all in shadow. That's good. You do have like her shoulder, which I feel like this is enough of a focal point where I should spend a little bit more time defining it. Because like if you're not looking at her face, you're kind of drawn into her shoulder, which kind of serves a dual focal point, I guess. I don't know. I'm making up terms. I love that scratchy noise. This point right here would really catch that light. Give her pointy ears. Yeah, I've done that before. Yeah, kid, kid knows. Like whenever I get the hint that somebody looks elfy, I give them pointy ears. I mean, what can I say? I go to a lot of Comic Cons. You know, people do cosplay and stuff like that. Pointy ears is definitely a big trope of things that people do. Anyway, so you can see how that kind of smooths out just by like blending it in, and then you can kind of, you know, create in some areas like a really hard line to kind of make that work a little bit nicer. And I think that's a nice shoulder, right? Like I think if you looked at that, you would be like, oh, that's a shoulder. My blending brush. Oh, here we go. Use this. Yeah, I think we're about done. You know, don't need to overwork it. I think you guys get the idea of what I was going for. You know, which is use some tone paper, and like if you don't have fancy tone paper or whatever, you can use these other kind of materials that you probably do have. Again, this is like packing material. The only thing that I would like to reemphasize because it is important is that if you do care about like the longevity of your piece, you do kind of want to work with archival quality material. Um, and I feel like I need to throw that out as a disclaimer so that you don't just grab a garbage bag or something like that, draw on it, and expect it to last forever. Um, a garbage bag is not going to last forever. It's going to become brittle and so on over time, probably within the next 100 years or something like that. Now, you and I may not be around to watch it go to pieces, so maybe you don't care. Like I don't care if this piece never lasts forever, but it's just something to keep in mind. And but they do have like archival quality, not really archival quality. I don't think that's the right term, but we should at least say acid free. They do have acid free packing paper like this, craft paper, whatever you want to call it. You can get some. It's a big roll, which makes it very nice to do like crazy artistic pieces. Because I would like to try drawing like a very large picture, right? Like a full size picture, maybe not of a person, or if I am doing a person, maybe it's like a character or something like Batman or the Mandalorian or something like that. But anyway, the point is you can get like a very large roll of this material, and I do think it makes a really cool um, canvas to work on. Like I think this picture turned out well, and I think this picture turned out well um, because of the toned paper and that dynamic of it already creating half the work. I feel like I can spend like forever like smoothing some of this out and making it look nicer and stuff, which I probably will. But we're at the 2 hour mark, so I don't feel like you guys need to sit through all that. But anyway, Pretty nice little portrait, I think. I think this would and maybe that's one of the future ones I'll do. I think this type of paper would lend well to like a Gandalf type picture, because I have done like a Gandalf on like a lunch pack. It kind of turned out well. I think maybe I'll do like one of my redemption drawings or something like that, where I try to do like a larger Gandalf on this kind of paper. I think that'd be kind of neat. But, yeah, her hair is kind of like going crazy here now. Um, kind of expand the picture a little bit. All right, so I do think that I'm probably going to wrap this up. Like I said, we're at the 2 hour mark. You know, I recognize that people have to go to work tomorrow and stuff like that. So I don't want to. I want to be respectful of you guys' time. But I think this would look cool as like a dog picture too. Like, you know, if I had a pet portrait done in this style, that would look kind of cool. I like making messes. It's so fun. You can't go wrong. All right, so I think that looks cool. Hey, thanks, Willie. Thanks, Vertigo. I appreciate it. Thanks, kid. Thanks, hater. Sorry. Thanks, Tyler. Appreciate you guys all being in here. Again, different ways of doing different things. Like you know, a lot of times when I work in a charcoal picture, I just make a big old mess, like a big mass of mess, and then I kind of carve out features. This is another way, you know, like in this particular picture, we spent a lot of time, you know, kind of sketching things out and stuff, kind of like the complete opposite of how we usually do it. This kind of reflective light, I think it really helps. So I'm going to put that in real quick. And then also the thing that we did differently this time is we started with tone paper, which automatically like lays down your like midtones and stuff like that, to where, you know, you're really only responsible for highlights and shadows at that point, which, you know, the highlights look really cool with having like the white charcoal slash pastel. So basically that's a recap of what we've been working on. Let me get some of these highlights back in this lid. Anyway, I might tinker with this a little bit, like throughout the night. Probably not too much. I think I think I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Let me raise this up. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've been adjusting this eye just because it's not perfect. But it is getting better, and I do think that it looks a lot better than it did earlier. At least it's like kind of on the same wavelength as the other one now. Anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna continue working on this, but probably not much and stuff. I'll post it up on the community tab when I'm done. But anyway, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Again, it's been a great Tuesday night. Let's see. Yeah, so I will be back on Thursday, and then I don't think I'm going to start on the bourbon bottles yet. I think I'm going to start that next week, and then you know, I'll document that entire process. I think it'll be a lot of fun to go ahead and do a live stream of that. Yeah, look at this. This is the reason why I love charcoal. It's so messy. It's so fun. Yeah, so like I want to document the entire process from how we create the coffee paintings that are going to go on the bottle, and then how we dress the bottle. So like it's some way we have to take that watercolor paper and get it on the bottle itself. So I'm going to do all of that on the live stream just to see how it goes. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me while doing this drawing. I like how it turned out. I think it looks kind of cool. Again, charcoal, brown paper. Again, you can get tone paper at the store. It can be gray, it can be brown, it could be whatever. And then like a white charcoal pencil. You can get a white charcoal pencil, but it's really pastel, so you might as well invest in a set of pastel. And then you're good to go. I think you'll be creating better pictures than I have. Yeah, so that's it for me. You guys have a good night. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Have a good one. Bye. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye.